Hello Scorpio, welcome to this reading. We're going to be taking a look at the energies and predictions for the sign of Scorpio for the rest of October. Now, do keep in mind, this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate, drop the ones that do not, and feel free to check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. All right, Scorpio, let's go ahead and get into this reading here for you, where we will be taking a look at the mid-month updates here for October. So yes, this reading will span between now and the rest of the month. See, it's coming forward for you here during that period of time, but first, let's go ahead and get all the cards out here. We'll get everything set up and in view, and then we'll get right into it for you. Okay. Okay. I think that's looking just about good enough to me for right now. Energy on the bottom. You do have the Two of Wands. I love this for you. You recognize that there is potential here in front of you. This is a major card of potential in the tarot. Probably in the past, you felt excited about a new venture or a new path that you have sort of decided to take on for yourself. And now you're kind of at this position where it's underway. And with this Two of Wands, you recognize the potential of this now that it's underway. And on top of that, you may have choices, decisions, and some actions to take. And so this can represent that sort of like planning stage in a certain way. You can kind of see where this person is at the fork in the road, and they're trying to decide on the path that they want to go down. So let's see how this unfolds for the rest of the reading, but I do get a sense that some of you have really decided to, and this is, you are not starting something new, you have already started something new, okay, prior to this reading. And I think that this is now underway fully for you. I think that this is probably in the areas of career and finance. We don't really have a ton of love messages here. We do have some cards that may indicate like long-term partnership, but really just one. Okay, so I think that that's probably, I will try to bring in love messages, but you know, on a different level here. I think that you're ready to move forward. Let's get right into it. So in the middle here, you have the Six of Swords, and this represents kind of going through a transition in life, right? I have a sense that some of you have decided to phase an old path out, okay? You've phased an old path out, and you are phasing into one that you are more excited about, okay? The old path that you were on, that you have now decided to phase out, is one that left you feeling restricted, okay? And we'll get into more of that as we go along. But with the Six of Swords, this may also suggest that you're not exactly sure you know where you're going yet, but you know you're going somewhere and you're excited about it. And the reason being is this person is sailing through the night. So they know that the thing that they have phased out is behind them, completely behind them. The challenges are behind them. You may have even won over some sort of challenge or battle in the past. That's all behind you, and they know that what they're phasing into is exciting, but they're not, the picture is not entirely clear yet. But this is a period of like maybe even going through a rite of passage, or on a deeper level, or just simply transitioning somewhere. I think in your probably career life or your life generally here. But again, there's a lot of potential here, and you may even have like options as well, as you have that Two of Wands for your future as well, which is a very good position to be in. Meaning you've done the hard work of letting go or phasing out the old path, and now you're here. You're squarely on this new this new kind of like, the word is not path, but you're on this new timeline, and there are multiple paths within the timeline. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's a little convoluted, but I think you get an idea of where I'm at here. In the first column, you do have the Eight of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. Sorry about that. My tripod bailed on me, so I had to reset everything up here. The camera, that is. Okay, so we have this Eight of Swords, Six of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. So I talked about how your previous path felt a bit restricting, okay? And that is showing up here in this Eight of Swords energy, okay? This Eight of Swords person is trapped in the sword imprisonment. You can see that each one of these swords here are surrounding them, and each sword represents a thought. They're also blindfolded, they're handcuffed, you can see here. It feels like there's no way out for this person, but there's a very simple way out, which is there's a shift in their mindset, and that can be the thing that leads them out of the sort of mind or mental imprisonment here. But on a broader level, the Eight of Swords is about feeling restricted, okay? Feeling restricted in what you are doing. So for you, I do get a sense that while the previous path was not, how do I say this? The previous path was not a fail, okay, it wasn't a failure. It also wasn't exactly completely and entirely fulfilling for you, you know? And with that Eight of Swords, I see that you have decided to take a strong action in your past to let go, to release whatever was holding you back, whatever was restricting you, whatever was kind of keeping you in place, and you have completely phased out of that. And what's nice here is with this Six of Wands, you know, the Six of Wands person is all about success in the tarot, okay? This person has triumphed over a battle, and this is what I was saying. You actually have this double six here, which is nice. So both of these cards, the Six of Swords may suggest you've moved on from a loss, or you've moved on from something painful. The Six of Wands may mean that you had a conflict in your past, and you have now successfully completed that. You have attained victory. So you have these two themes that are very similar, that are sort of stacking up here for you for the rest of this month, okay? So with the Six of Wands, this is a very positive sign in the tarot. And I would also say with that Six of Wands, it may even suggest that some of you are gaining some popularity. I would say that this is usually good for social media people, you know, people on social media, especially you have this Three of Cups as well. If you're not on social media, you may just be attracting people at this time into your life. You may just be popular on like a local level, you know, in your like local area or whatever the case may be. That could also be the case, but I do associate this with popularity, as this person is being paraded through the crowd and cheered on through the crowd, okay, in front of the crowd. And so, yes, I think that as you have let go here in the past of a restriction, I get a sense that you feel free, Scorpio. I get a sense that you feel free at this time. With that, you have this Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Swords is a card that can really, really indicate breakthroughs in the tarot. It's also a victory card, so you've got two of those here. But as I'm kind of viewing this as the past, this first column as the past, this is where you have already initiated something, okay? And with that Ace of Swords, you are feeling like inspired even, okay, is what I would say. And I think that the cloud has been lifted, or the chains that you felt like you were shackled to are now removed, okay, here in the past, and that is restricted. So let's take a look at this middle column. You have the Strength card, the Six of Swords, and the Temperance card. Okay, so with the Strength card, here's the thing. Like, I think some of you are riding a bit of a high, like you're riding a wave of, like you've been really up only recently. Like you're really riding a good wave of, you know, inspired action, so forth and so on. And what might happen is you might now, at this time, or between now and the end of the month, you might be in a bit of a, like, a little bit of a dip. Like, you might be in a bit of a lull, because I have a feeling that some of you have been really, really going up for a while, okay, or for a period of time. And with the Strength card here, what this is saying is it's important for you to not let go of the inspired action that you've taken already, okay? Have the willpower and the strength to continue forward with something, okay? Especially if, like, man, boredom is like a big enemy, you know, in life. And, you know, hopefully you understand where I'm getting at here, but I'm kind of viewing this as a graph, like where you have gone way up, and now you're kind of like leveling out a little bit, but this is just temporary, okay? This leveling out period is just temporary, okay? So it's important what you do as you're leveling out a little bit here, because you are going up again, okay? You are going up again in the future here, but it's important at the way that you handle this sort of like lull period, okay, is very important. Okay, it's very important, and it's important to remember the inspired action that you've taken up to this point, because the transition is underway for you here. You've phased something out, okay, so that's behind you, and the potential here in the new path that you're phasing into is really, really strong. Okay, you also here have this Temperance card, which again is more of a passive energy, okay? And this represents healing, okay? This Temperance card here represents healing. It represents it can represent tranquility. That's actually the Star card. But the Temperance card, it represents healing. It represents sort of like moderation, okay, is the word I was looking for, moderation and balance. So maybe this period of time here where you're sort of leveling out a little bit, this is important, okay? Maybe you've needed a little bit of balance and moderation because you've been go, 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 okay, Scorpio? But I am thinking that it's also not the best time to let go of the divine inspiration that you've acquired here in the past either. So it's sort of a delicate balance here, okay, between the two things. Now, in the final column, you have the Three of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. Okay, and so the Three of Cups, this is what I'm suggesting here. I don't always associate this with popularity, but you can see the Three of Cups, it can refer to your social circle, okay? It can refer to your friend group, the other people around you. I think that maybe even people are inspired by what you're doing. People are seeing what you're doing and getting inspired for themselves, okay? That's very possible here. But on a different level, this just refers to absolute joy, happiness, and harmony within oneself or with other people as well. And so you may have something to celebrate here in the future. Again, the graph is not going to stay level forever. It is going to go up here for you. You then here have the Hierophant as well, which, you know, the Hierophant, it represents, I think in this case, wisdom. This isn't a marriage or love reading. So, you know, this represents wisdom, okay? It can represent wisdom and kind of like knowledge that you've gained along your journey up to this point that you can use and tap into to help yourself kind of continue this upward movement and this upward trajectory that I see that you have. Now, it also can refer to elders. We'll have to be on the lookout for like an inheritance timeline here, because you do have the Ten of Pentacles and the Hierophant. That actually can be about legacies that you leave for people, okay? The Ten of Pentacles is like a major card of abundance in the tarot, and it's absolutely one that everybody loves to see, and it makes sense, right? It is the highest vibration of the suit of Pentacles. You love to see this here. Even if I look at this row, success, you know, victory with a transition, and then, you know, potential increase in your abundance mindset, or just something that you're doing that it results in an increase, or something that's happening that results in an increase here with the Ten of Pentacles. This is, we'll be on the lookout for, like, is this, you know, money that's coming into you, or whatever the case may be, or that you're coming into. With that, let's go ahead and move into the clarifications portion of this reading here. And we will pull some oracle cards, and then we'll also pull some tarot cards for you here, Scorpio. Okay. And I think that's looking just about good enough to me. All right. Energy on the bottom. Yeah, you do have Father Sky. Okay, so I will associate this card with the Father many times, but it says trust in the unknown. That's actually also a great message for the Six of Swords, which is kind of like how I was trying to explain that earlier, which is this person is sailing through the dark. So there are some unknowns, okay, around this person's path, okay? So let's see what else we have here. Yeah, okay. So you have Wise One, grow within your current situation, as well as that like Father Sky plus the Hierophant. Again, there's a lot of wisdom here that you can tap into. You have Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right, as well as Drum, Dream, and Journey. Okay, let's see here. This like letting go, I think it's about that path that you phased out of in the past. Let's look at the final 3 Oracle cards here. You have Broken Arrow, embrace the energy of peace. You have Sun, enjoy success and happiness, as well as Shaman, trust in higher forces. Okay, so there's definitely this idea of trusting as well at this time as you, which it, also really makes sense because when you go through these periods of change in life, like I know, like for me on a personal level, like when I left my, office job to, start a business, which eventually became YouTube, like that was like, man, I really, really just had to trust the universe. I really, really just had to put my trust in something else because I had a feeling that it was going to work out, but I didn't completely entirely know. And I feel like you are in a similar position where there's this idea of just trusting that this is the path that is more rewarding and just ultimately more in alignment with you, because whatever was in the past here was restricting for you here, Scorpio. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at clarifying the tarot cards now. Now, I do appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I do hope things are going well for you, Scorpio. And we'll go ahead and split the deck and then get right into it here. Okay, you have the 3 of Wands. You have the Chariot. And you have the Page of Cups. Okay, so we now see this idea of, well, first, they're not in the same suit, but 1, 2, 3, Ace, 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands, right? Ace of Swords, 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands, which for me always represents progression in one's life or in a certain area of, what I'm reading. And you here, with the 3 of Wands and the 8 of Swords, you have recognized that you can expand and grow beyond the scenario that you were in previously, okay? That situation where you felt trapped, like you felt restricted, like you knew there was more. And you, I think, have successfully acted on that, okay? And you even have another marker of success here, which is the Chariot, okay? The Chariot is this idea of driving forward with success in one's life, And, this also represents as above, so below. The actions we take in life are really very important, And, what you put out there ultimately does come back. And I think that you are sort of like you have made the right choices. You have really made the right choices here. It may not, it's interesting because right now, what I'm feeling is for you, Scorpio, that you may not feel exactly like you've done the right thing, okay? Because it's maybe not entirely certain for you yet. But the cards would indicate, and let's just make sure we clarify here, but the cards would indicate that this is pointing up for you, okay? With the Page of Cups, this can represent some new opportunity to make you happy in some aspect of life, some dream that you may have capitalized on, I think in this case, with the Page of Cups and the Ace of Swords. Let's see here. You have the Knight of Pentacles, you have the 6 of Cups, and the Emperor. There's the Father again. Okay. So we had this Father Sky Oracle card. We now have the Emperor, which is the father of the tarot. Emperor Father, Empress Mother, and the Hierophant Elders. Okay. So you don't have the Empress, but there is maybe, I was looking here, is there a sign of a windfall for some people through, family, some generational kind of passing down of assets, resources, these sorts of things. I do think that is very possible for some people. That is not going to be for everyone, right? Because not everybody's going to be going through that or, receiving that at this time. But for some, that is a message for you, okay? Especially because the 6 of Cups, it represents the homeland, the motherland, the family you were born into. You've got the Father, you've got the Elder here. So this is possible. And then the Knight of Pentacles on top of that is a card that may be associated with profit or profit-taking. But more importantly, it represents results. So yeah, that's possible. But for everybody else here, I see that there are some strong results that are coming for you with the Knight of Pentacles. And remember, I said that this middle column, it may suggest that you're in a little bit of a down period. You're in a lull, okay? Things are kind of leveling out or flattening a little bit. You've been up for a long time. Things are flattening out or leveling a little bit. And I would suggest here that patience is a virtue. You know, patience is going to be very important for you during this time, and how you use this kind of moment here is very, very important towards your ultimate goal, whatever that may be for you. But some of you do have like an ultimate goal that you are striving for here. And with the Emperor, this would suggest success as well. So you have actual major signs of success here in the tarot. You know, major signs with the Ace of Swords, the Chariot, the Six of Wands, the Emperor. Here. And there may be some of you during this period of time. Remember, I think that right now you're in a little bit of like this leveling out, flattening out. And with the Six of Cups, you may be reminiscing a little bit. You may be looking back on, some of you may be second guessing, okay? Which I think is actually, I'm not even looking at that as a negative thing. I actually think that it's like a totally normal thing when you go through like a major period of change in one's life, you know? But some of you are just kind of looking back. Have I made the right choice? You may be reminiscing a little bit. And I do see that there are results available here with the Knight of Pentacles, okay? I would also say that the Knight of Pentacles, it is a card that represents hard work in the tarot. So there's also a message of continuing to push forward and continuing that strong work ethic. Okay, you do have the Devil, you have the Seven of Swords, and you have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Devil, Seven of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. All right, so the Devil is interesting here. The Devil represents, I think in this case, power, okay? And, you know, leadership, which you have here with the Emperor, is all about how you decide to wield the power, right? The best leaders wield power in a benevolent way, you know, in a good, respectful way, in a fair way, right? The Devil, on the other hand, wields power in a negative way. You know, the Devil wields power in a way in which they may like to keep people under their thumb, or, you know, always monitor them, or, you know, put them down, those sorts of things. So for you, I see that you are in a strong position of power here at this time. And it's going to be about how you sort of like decide to use that, okay? And remember, I said that you have responsibility here, or sorry, you have popularity here with the Six of Wands and the Three of Cups. What is that? With great power comes great responsibility, I think is what was going through my head as I was looking at that. And you definitely have something like that here. The Seven of Swords, you know, it does indicate, sometimes the Seven of Swords, it can indicate like theft, or somebody like backstabbing you, you know, these sorts of things. It's not a good card, especially with the Devil, because Devil can also represent toxicity. However, this doesn't completely alter the reading because every card here is amazing. So I would say that the Seven of Swords could indicate that you have a critical choice to make, or you have to there's a game plan that you need to put in place for yourself, right? You need to do a little bit of game planning here around like a money scenario, or something like that. You then here have the Ace of Pentacles. This is very good, okay? So we see that some seed that you've planted in the past is now starting to bloom and blossom for you here in the future. Now, energy on the bottom, you do have this Eight of Swords again. Let go of what was holding you back, okay? You have already freed yourself of this situation, the Eight of Swords. You've already freed yourself of this, you know? That has been phased out for you. You are now phasing into something else. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the Kipper energies for you. See what we have here. Okay, you have Privileged Lady, Poverty, Expectation, interesting, Adjudication, Unexpected Income, and Toil and Labor. Scorpio, you've worked hard for something, okay? You've worked really hard for something. Like you're in the driver's seat. You get to decide what you want to do with that. Okay? Because I have a feeling that there's somebody here who is who wants what you have. Okay? They may be in a tough situation. They may be in a tough spot. Privileged lady, poverty, expectation. They may be in a tough spot. Somebody's maybe placing an expectation on you. But remember that you've worked hard for this, and you deserve everything that you've earned up to this point. There may be somebody may be contesting a will or an inheritance here with adjudication, house, and unexpected income. People might be coming out of the woodwork, so to speak. Okay, but with the distant horizons here, this is looking up for you. The distant horizons card says coast is clear. So I like this for you, Scorpio. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll most certainly be talking to you again soon.